Hello, I'm Xander, programmer for Hamlet Grab.
I'm Nick, the artist.
That's the whole roster. We didn't hire any commission work or purchase any assets, so everything you see was done by the two of us. But we definitely can't forget the moral support department. So first, I'll try to quickly recap the long learning process leading up to today. The journey starts with Bad Bandit from around 2016, and the images here are the earliest makings of the version that you're watching now. The contrast between the two of those is a really good illustration of our biggest challenge in game development historically, which is just inexperience. We would often spend hundreds of hours or more working to find that our newest work looked and functioned jarringly better than the old content. On top of that, not knowing anyone at all in the industry, we found out too late that we were using outdated tools. So we made the difficult decision to just start completely fresh, using modern 2D animation software and the compatible programming systems. Then on game 2, which here you're seeing just a random mashup of animations and images that were made in the process of planning for the game. But we again found ourselves suffering from the same issue mentioned earlier, this time as we learned and adapted to the new development environment and workflow. So finally, that brought us to our current game, Hamlet Grab. We both put in a lot of time and effort improving our abilities outside of game development hours to try and overcome that inexperience issue, and this time make the best product possible. Most artists and programmers only have one thing to learn and master to do their job, where, as all indie developers will know, both of us had to learn a lot. There's systems design, net coding, database management, mobile infrastructure design, audio and visual integration, and several more just on the coding end. In addition, a lot of indie companies that also have only one or two developers like us have at least a small budget to afford some commissioned work, where we have spent literally $0 on the game. For my part, there are all sorts of different animations to learn, from walk cycles, environmental animations, props, and then visual effects. And then you'll see here, I even ran all around Austin doing Foley art for the first time. I recorded basically every sound I heard and learned to mix and match them to create the artificial and exaggerated noises that we needed, like this electricity clip. Next is making the music. There's currently only this song in the game, but I will make more, I promise. Then there is UI design, and splash and promotional art, and video editing, and world building, and lore crafting, and narrating, and now list writing. Lastly are all the apps we had to learn, and are still learning and adding more to all the time. Please make it stop. Alright, that takes us to battles. The amount of hours it takes to develop a game with no external resources, like a budget or a mentor, is pretty crazy. We spent a little less than 3 years with the scheduling software before it became too expensive, but in those 3 years we racked up almost 20,000 hours. For reference, that is more than an average child spends in their entire K-12 at-school experience. Next, there is the support system. As mentioned before, We don't know anyone in the industry and not many who play video games at all, so finding help for testing and feedback has been difficult. As you can see here, all the top names except one are accounts operated by our team, equaling to some 2,000 games. The name at the bottom here is the help we got at 2 games. There have been a couple notable exceptions, like my wife Jo, who I included in the team group. She's been incredibly supportive in testing and feedback. And then there's my friend Kyle, who you'll see near the top of the list. He's contributed in a lot of ways, which has been a massive help. And lastly, my friend David, who helped us through the earliest tests before we recorded any of this game data. All right, moving on to diet. And lastly, finding motivation to keep working throughout all of this has been really tough. But at the end of the day, it is the job that we want to do, so we just keep trying. So discussing battles, I do have to mention my mom passing away a couple years back during the first year of our development. So this had a big effect on both the speed of development and my own personal motivation. She was a massive influence in my life and one of the only ones who supported my career choice. So her passing left me with a lot of mental and even physical roadblocks. I visited several doctors thinking I had a serious illness, when I eventually came to realize it was just severe depression. It took a long time to make it back to a place of productivity, but I am doing a lot better now and have her photo on my work desk to help motivate me to keep moving toward my goal. All right, onward to the not sad things. Mission. Our immediate mission is to just complete the game. We have already completed a large chunk of the process in the learning curve and most of the game loop fundamentals in the form of PvP, which is what you're watching here. What's left is adding content. More structures, units, enemies, quests and challenges, progression and loot systems, etc. And then finally releasing the game on mobile and PC. We don't want any pay to win or any pay to play, just a fun strategy, RPG, monster collector, with the classic cosmetics that you can choose to buy and support us if you want. Then we hope to build a small community around us to enjoy our game with, host some tournaments, bounce ideas off of, and just perfect our product. The long-term mission would be to establish ourselves in the industry as a developer that produces indie games with depth and creative risks for audiences that just want to play something fresh and without all the loot boxes and predatory modern-day practices. We would ultimately love to create a team to work on bigger PC games and create larger universes that like-minded fans can obsess over as much as we do. Anyways, that's about it. So thank you all very much for taking the time to watch, and an extra big thanks to those who support us. Bye.